Om Vajra Sattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajra Sattva Tenopa Trishtra Didro Me Bhava Soto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anurakto me bhava sarva siddhi me prayatsa sarva karma sutsame Siyatam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sarva Tathagata Vajra Mame Munsa Vajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sattva Ahum Pen Eho Shude Soha Yam Ho Shude So Ram Ho Shude Soha Lam Ho Shude Soha Bam Ho Shude Soha Eyam Ram Lam Bam Shude Soha Om Muni Mahamuni Shakya Munye Soha Ye Dharma Hetun Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tatagat Data Teshan Chayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahashramanaye Svoha Om Chönam Tamche Gyule Jung Tegyu Deshin Shekpe Sung Gyula Gopa Kaimba Gejon Chembu Deke Sung Gejon Chembu Jing Gejon Chembu Ngodrup Sol Gejon Chembu Trashisho Sangye Chedan Tsoge Chonamla Chanchu Pardo Dani Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchire Sangye Druparashu Sangye Chedan Tsoge Chonamla Chanchu Pardo Dani Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchire Sangye Drupa Sangye Chedan Tsoge Chonamla Chancho Pardo Dani Kyapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Gibe Sonamgi Drola Pinchire Sangye Druparasho. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge until enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. One of the difficulties that I find sometimes for us is that, how to say, when we have a difficulty in the present, our priority is to take away the difficulty. When we are experiencing a moment of pleasure in the present, our priority is just to make for that pleasure to continue and keep. And very often we are worried and how we are going to do to make that pleasure to continue and so on. But if we really stop and analyze, we will see quite clearly that the present is the result of many actions and choices that were made in the past. Okay? What we are experiencing now is the result of many, many things that were accumulated from the past, together with the conditions of the present. At the same time, whatever will happen in the future will be the result of our past with our present. That's what our future will become. So, it is important for us to act in a way looking a little bit beyond the present, which means beyond this life even. Because sure, in this life, there are wishes that will be fulfilled, wishes that are not going to be fulfilled. Our health is going to go well, then it's going to go bad, then it's going to go well again, we hope. And then we are going to have one thing is going to go well, another thing is going not to go well. Then we have one problem here, another problem there. Things go in one way, go in another way. That's normal, that's life. When we have our own wishes, it's like this. No, we get trapped by our desires, both when they are fulfilled and when they are not fulfilled very often. When we have a desire and the desire is fulfilled, we get trapped within it, enjoying that moment, and we stayed only in that. When we have our desire and our desire is not fulfilled, we get trapped in the anger and in the anxiety and so on because our desire was not fulfilled. Okay, when our desire is fulfilled, let's enjoy it. When it's not fulfilled, let's go beyond it. But we can become a little bit sad, okay? But both cases, we cannot just live our life only for that. We need to remember that the present moment is what's going to build up the future. And if I want to have a certain type of future, I need to build up a certain type of present, because that's the transformation that we bring to it. So when we talk about being aware of our own mortality, it brings the fact of living the present, which means this life, every moment here, also thinking that it is directly connected to what will come after death. That's very important for us. Because sometimes when we think about next life, it may seem like if the next life have nothing to do with the present life. It's not like that. It's a continuity. It's like the day of yesterday that is directly connected with the day of today, and like this we move on. Okay, this is just one important point. All right. So we read the last part, and then we don't have enough time to finish the whole text. But the text is quite simple, so I advise everybody to continue reading it at home, because it's quite simple to understand it anyhow. So we'll just finish this point 1.3. I will just read the Tibetan first, 1 minute. Gyumtsen Sumba, Sömbeyang, Chö Chalom Mebar, Ngebar Chiwani. Tani, Detar Ngebar, Chiwar Samne, Tetu, Pembe Chö Shama Shik, Lagle La Ngebar Tebar Machena, Chungse Sömbe Kapdilangs, Tamcho Chetu Ngangne, Namyang Natso Gi Chagyu Mang Gi Chagyu Majungwar, Mitse Tawar Di Remuk. Chungtu Chö Midre, Getu Chö Mitup, Tarme Kap Chungse Drengya Miche, Kashe Mebar Che Samtu Kyang, Semuni Ni, Nimuni Longtam, Ngösung, Dunzi, Droduk Sok, Namye Shata Gimitse Se, Gyundu Tongse Tendre To, Kabrer, Ming Nyembo Re Takpes, Drewa Parma Shingtu Chewa, Re Nima Karson Mishe, Tendre, Dawa Se, Lo Se, Mitse Rilgise. The other Chebe, Chiwe Ningmo Par Mishe, Shitu Gyogyang Tals, Kungtampe, Nyamlen Chegyu, Madre Nishu Tal, Chetu Ngangla Nishu Tal, Manju Sershin Chulak Tal, Mitse Tongpar Sebe Namdar Yin, Shesumba Tars, Chungse Sumbe Kapdilangs, Chelom Meba Dile, Kyowa Mindus, Che Chelom Miduk Nyamtes, chelo meba teyang rangi sobare. Tani, chawa che shak chung shul, dunzin chik shodang, ni cho tu chenes, drube long kapte, nyen chik tsulgos, sembar kang nye, nyamlen kang dril che gos, dake dan shake tumba shik charan dugos, gyumtsen sumba di, chiwar ngebe, drupcha tu midros she, kebanam sunge mang di dendra tabu shik nayas gyumtsen suga chiwar ngeba tsamgi gyumtsen tu michebars che madrubar chiwa ngebe gyumtsen tu chagwedes lamrin chemule chiwa drempe lo chi tabu shik keba ngunzin kap chiwa la trakpa tsam mimpars jikden chime tun madrubar chiwa la trakpa drup gobar sumbes tena drupcha jikden chime tun madrubar ngeba chiwa drubar chenes tela drupche gyumsen sums jikden chime tun madrubar namchi ngeme drupchar chene tela gyumsen sum so samba yins tetarna sembe tseyang che chalom mebar ngebar chi shebe gyumsen yang drupcha jikden chime tun madrubar ngebar chiwe drupche tu kolawes chiwa drembe lo chi tabu shi keba shebe drupche tsawa matorwa chao. Okay. Assure death without having time to practice the Dharma even while being alive. Which means it's sure that we will die. There is no doubt that we will die. And we will die without practicing the Dharma if we do not practice the Dharma while we are alive. If we wait our death to practice the Dharma, we will never do it. Okay? No, I need to practice Dharma. One day I will practice. Let's wait the moment of death to prepare for death. We will never do that, right? So, having thought that we will definitely die, if we do not ensure ourselves now the practice of a true Dharma that will help at that time, it will be sorrowful to spend our lives simply saying, I will practice. Yes, I will practice. Without actually practicing it due to a variety of distractions, even during the short time we are alive. When we are small, we do not think of Dharma. When we are old, we cannot practice it. When we are an adult, we would not practice even if we were remembered, because we are too busy with too many things. Even if we thought of practicing it sincerely, at night we sleep. During the day, we chatter, flatter, and we exhaust our life only in distractions, such as being in commotion, walking, sitting, and so forth. On top of already constantly wasting life in that way, there are times when one is extremely busy without interruption due to having been given a good name or title, whereby one does not even know how the day has gone by. With such a way of existing, the month finishes, the year finishes, and one's whole life finishes. In that way, one does not notice it until the day when one dies. When dying, even if one has regrets, it is over. Here is not Milarepa. It's a mistake of translation. It's Kundan Jampeliang. Okay? It's Kundangpe, the name of the master. 20 years of life is over without thinking of practicing. 20 years is gone with the idea I will practice. More than 40 years is over with the remorse of saying I have not practiced. This is thus the biography of an empty life. Just check the Tibetan of this 1 second. Nyamlen chegyu madre nishu tal. Without thinking to practice, without remembering to practice, 20 years passed by. Cheto ngane nishu tag. I will do, 20 years go by. Majung sershin chulhatas. I couldn't do, more than 10 years passed by. That's the biography of an empty life. Nothing is sadder than not having at the time to practice even during the short time while we are alive. Nothing is more sad than letting our life pass by with this wonderful opportunity to practice the Dharma and not practicing, not changing our mind, not directing our behavior, not training ourselves, not preparing ourselves for what will come later. We are the ones responsible for not having the time to practice by thinking. There is no time to practice the Dharma. Look, and this was Pabongkha Rinpoche in the 19th century in Tibet, year 1900 more or less. And then, here we are in the West, where it's always saying, I have no time, I have no time. Even when I arrived in Europe after living in India, and I arrived in Italy, after some time I started saying to myself, to people, I have no time, I am too busy. Because I saw, after some time I understood, that you were not cool if you had time. So it's nice, it's cool to say I have no time. It means I am somehow important. Up to a moment when I understood that, I just start changing my words and I say, I have time, but I choose how to use it. I have no time for this because I choose to do something else. That's all. So when I have no time for this, it means my priority is somewhere else. Okay? Now, leave extensive activities behind. Postpone the small ones and find any moment to practice Dharma by separating oneself from one and other commotion here and there. Try to find any number of intervals to integrate oneself in the practice as much as one can. Make space for the Dharma practice every moment where you can. Sure, we get busy. We wake up, go to work, we are very tired, come back, do one thing, another. What we can do is apply. If we find 1 hour to do some meditation, it's already a lot, normally. If we are able, actually, it's good, but if we are able to apply in our daily life, in our way of talking, in our way of dealing with situations, in our way of relating to ourselves and others, we apply love, we apply patience, we apply the teachings, generally speaking, then we are doing really something useful. Okay? Otherwise, we are just busy with so many things, resolving one problem here, solving another problem there, and this person is like this, and that is like that, and like this, life just goes by. It is the moment to take the maximum amount of time during the day and month for the practice of Dharma. There are many scholars who say that this third point does not really fit as a reason to prove that death is definite, and does not seem to be so. However, we do not take these 3 points together simply to prove death is certain, but rather we take them as a reason. We take them as a reason for a certain death if we do not practice Dharma. In the great Lamrim, in the great exposition of Lamrim, the Lamrim Chema by Lama Tsongkhapa, when specifying what kind of awareness one should generate when thinking about death, it is said, it is not just a question of being afraid of death, but rather one should make oneself afraid of dying without having achieved something positive for one's future life. The problem is not dying. The problem is not using one's precious opportunity of this life well enough. Therefore, the probandum here is to prove that we definitely die without having done something for our future existences, if we do not really put an effort for that. And for that, there are 3 reasons. In other words, having taken the uncertainty of the time of death without having done something positive for the future as a probandum, it is taught that there are 3 reasons and so forth. That being the case, the reason, a certain death without having the time to practice Dharma even while being alive. It's easily understood as a proof of the probandum, a certain death without having done something for one's future existence. Therefore, make sure that one does not give up the root of the probandum. What kind of awareness that recalls death should one generate? The probandum is what we want to prove. What's the reason here behind, okay? So the point here, what do we want to prove? Where do we want to get with these 3 reasonings? The point is not to understand that the death is certain. The point, what's the realization of this part? It's not to generate a strong, deep feeling, yes, that is certain, and simply have fear of death. It's to realize I must practice the Dharma. I cannot die without practicing well the Dharma, without developing my qualities. I must make sure that the moment death will come, and it will be soon, I must have used every moment I had to develop my qualities, to be of benefit for others. When I die, what will I take with me, and what will I leave for others? That's the question that we make. Okay? So, it's very important for us to go through this process and try to understand it deeply. Life is too precious just to let it go with little stupid things in life. Because sure, we have many desires. When we get the desire, we are trapped by the pleasures of it. When we don't get the desire, we are trapped with the unhappiness of not getting what we wanted. And anger against someone, which is the cause why I couldn't get what I wanted. And the main problem is that if we live life just like this, we are cultivating, as we move on with our days, what? Insatisfaction, anger, aggression, fear, negative karma. Instead, we should cultivate what as we move along? Love, respect, gratitude, humility, generosity, patience, wisdom. That's what we need to generate. And if we do that, we can assure that we will die quite well, and we will have a good continuity after death. And we will live a good life. That's the main point of all. Okay? So with this, we conclude this part, which regards this time reading about death. The next points, I will just now read quickly, first in Italian, then in English, the point itself. And I will just request everybody to continue reading the text on, because we have no physical time now to go through the whole thing together, okay? We will not go through the detailed reading of the rest of the text together, because there is no enough time for that. But I would like just to go through the main points of the rest of the text, so we can somehow conclude it. And it says, number 2, page number 77, the 3 reasons for the time of death being uncertain. Because first we saw the certainty of death. Second point, the certainty of the uncertainty of the moment of death. Third point, the only thing that can help us in the moment of death is the Dharma. Okay? So, the 3 reasons for the time of death being uncertain. The first reason for the time of death being uncertain is the fact of the uncertainty of our lifespan. None of us are born already with a number of life. Okay, you are going to live 20 years, you are going to live 50 years, you have 10, you have 20, you know. Some of us die before even we are born. Some die in their childhood. Some die when they are young. Some die in their 20s, 30s, 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, whatever, okay, any age. But none of us is born already with a sort of the time running out. Sure, the time is running out, but we have no idea how much is there. We can only see maybe the second, but we don't know what's coming before. So, this is the first reason why the moment of death is uncertain. None of us have a specific duration of life. Okay, we know that more or less the maximum we can get is around 100 years, right? That's more or less what is possible. Maybe 80 is already quite good, but maybe 90, who knows, 70. But why not 60? Why not 50? Why not 40? Or whatever other age? There is no reason for that. Okay. Second reason why death is uncertain. There are way too many reasons. This is in page number 87. There are way too many reasons for us to die and too less reasons for us to be kept alive. If we look around, there are more conditions for us to die than conditions for us to be alive. You know, death can come so easily, actually. We don't really need much to die. It's just, one foot going in the wrong way. Close 3 holes for some minutes. No? Maybe there was even one program in television, I think it was Discovery Channel whatsoever, and it was called Strange Death or something like that. I saw one time. And they had this program, and there was this story of this guy. He came out of his house in the garden, strong man, very healthy, young, everything okay. He came out of the house, he slept on the floor, banged his head. It was nothing serious, the bang of his head, but he fainted. And when he fainted, he dropped with the face on the pot of drinking water of the dog. And he died by drowning on this little amount of water. Okay. There are way more reasons for us to die than for reasons for us to be kept alive. So many things, It can come in any moment. Even in the monastery, I had one friend and he was afraid of going to the hospital because his teacher died in the hospital. So he would say, I don't go to the hospital because people die in the hospitals. Then my teacher would tell him, okay, then stop eating. People died eating. Don't go down the stairs. Some people died going down the stairs. It's not a valid reason, because so many possibilities. The point is that we are not really sure when death will come. And there are so many possibilities. Because if we were sure death will only come when that thing happens, okay, I get far away from that thing and then everything will be fine. But it's not like that. No, there's the story of the guy running, he sees the Lord of Death, and then he runs away from death in all the way he can with all the strength he has. And when he reaches a very far away place, finally he rests and says, okay, now I am far away. Death cannot reach me here. Then he looked to the side and there is death very calmly, looking at him and say, oh, I was coming here, waiting here for you, but you came earlier, You came exactly in my own direction. Which means death can come anywhere. And when it's our moment, it will come or in one way or in another. It's like the story we said before of this guy that was dealing with very dangerous animals, and finally he died because of a little small fish that stuck on his heart. So really, we never know how death can come. I saw situations of people that everybody would not give them 1 month of life, And there they are after a few years. In the meantime, other people that look like they would have a very long life have already passed away. We never really know. Okay? And the third reason, which is here on page 89, is the fact that our body is extremely delicate. So first, we don't come with a time written, how long we have expiry date, how long is going to be our life. Nobody really knows about it. No one. Second, the reasons for death are so many. Third, our body is so delicate. It's incredible, our body, but it takes so little. The lack of air, the lack of food, the lack of water. One little thing being broken in the wrong place. No. Something going wrong in this very complex and wonderful system we have in our body. And something here and there, we can finish. And if death would be looking to me, and I would say, I'm not going to die now, I am young. What would that say? Why? Young people don't die? And they'll start laughing on me. I say, oh, but I have a good health. Why healthy people don't die? Oh, but I am rich. Why rich people don't die? But I am a good person. Why good people don't die? None of these reasons are valid. So the truth is, we have any real certainty of when we are going to die. But still we live as if we would live. Still we live as if we would live forever. Okay. So the third point, page 91, is there are 3 reasons to think that nothing other than the Dharma will help us in the moment of our death. First reason, material wealth and resources will not help. I can have as much money as I may want. It can help just before death, yes. I can be in a good hospital, I can take care of my sickness, the treatment, whatever. But through the actual process of death, nobody can do anything. It doesn't matter if I have money, if I have power, if I have influence. I need to have influence on myself or nothing else at that moment. Okay? Second point, even friends will not be helpful. I can have the world full of friends around me. How much can they truly help me in the moment of my own death? Can they stop me from dying when my moment comes? No. Can they assure me that I can have a better life? Can they put all together and say, okay, guys, come on, let's do something good for our friend that is dying. We do something so he has a good rebirth. Can they do anything? No. Even during lifetime, friends cannot help much. In the sense that they can only help where we want to be helped. How many times we try to help someone, but if the person is not open to change his own attitude, it's not going to change. I just remember, there are situations of parents with children that are addicted to drug in such a bad situation, and the parents get crazy trying to do everything. But until the person doesn't want to do the change and doesn't want to receive the benefit, there is nothing that can happen. Even if the Buddhas come to me and say, okay, come on, let me help you. If I am not open to receive their help and I don't want to make the change, nothing is going to happen. Okay? So it's like this in lifetime, and it's like this sure in the moment of death. And the third point is that neither our own body will be helpful. That's for sure, no? If there is something that will not help us in the moment of death, it's our body. Body saying goodbye and not farewell, not see you soon, is goodbye and finished. Okay? Someone may ask, but can my guru help me? Can the Buddhas help me? Somehow. If I have the connection, if I am open for the blessings, he can interact with me so I can direct my mind in a positive way. And that's a wonderful help. If I remember the Guru, if I remember the Buddhas, if I remember what is sacred for me in the moment of my death, this will direct my mind to something that is positive and virtuous, and this will help a lot. But if the Buddhas could do something without the person needing to do anything, all the Buddhas should just gather nearby everybody that is dying and make them have a better rebirth. Okay, come on, let's die. Let's make a better rebirth. But it's not like that reality. Then the samsara will be quickly empty, no? But it's not like that. If we are not ready to receive help, if we do not open ourselves, no one can help us. We are born alone, we live alone, and we die alone. No one can live our lives for ourselves. And the only thing that can help us in the moment of our death is our own spiritual practice, the Dharma. Nothing more. So we must start practicing it from this moment and no other moment later. Once we realize this, we get to the next step, which here is in page 103, which is the point that says, okay, but as I am going to die, sure, I don't know when, and I see that Dharma is the only thing that can actually truly help me, but what will happen after death? I don't want to have a bad result. I don't want to go to a bad rebirth. So what I need to do? Take care to live a good life now and to prepare myself to have a good death at the moment of my death. It's similar to the fact, do I want to get sick? No. So if I don't want to get old sick, what should I do right now? Stop having the behaviors that will make me sick and cultivate what makes me healthy. Simple as that. Similarly, if I want to have a good rebirth and a good continuity, I must do what will assure me such good continuity and rebirth since this very right moment. Once we get to this strong point, we go to the next step, which is, but even though I managed to get a good rebirth, just as I had in this life, which is already a good rebirth, is that enough? Or do I still suffer? I suffer. So actually, making the long story short, I am extremely tired of constantly living in this infinite cycle of suffering, mental defilements, action. So out of anger, jealousy, pride, miserliness, whatever, I act with body, speech, and mind. This action, karma, brings a result, suffering. How do I react to suffering? Oh, thank you for doing that. That's just the way how my karma of the past is ripening on me, myself, so I can empty that karma that I had. Oh, thank you that you make me nervous so I can practice patience. Do we react like that? No. In front of suffering, how do we react? With attachment, with hatred, with violence, being aggressive, and so on. So, mental defilement. With that we act. This brings suffering to which we react negatively. This is so-called the cycle of samsara. To understand it more deeply, we need to go through the 12 links of interdependence. But that's not a moment for that now. But the point is that we get so tired at some point of this whole path and we say, I don't want anymore to be in this cycle of samsara. I am tired of it. I got enough. For me, enough is just enough. I don't want anymore to be on this cycle. And what's the only way? Eliminate my suffering. Eliminate my ignorance. Eliminate my selfishness. Develop love, compassion, wisdom. That's the only way possible. But when we get this determination and we see that it's possible, then there is another point. Imagine we are like in a big boat full of people, and then suddenly this boat is sinking. Or the boat is going in the direction of war, or going in a place of so much suffering, and we find a way how to jump out of the boat and escape. But we look, all the people that we will leave behind. And we say, I cannot do that. I cannot just get out by myself. I must help all this rest of the people here. So what can I do? I need to have the strength to be able to help others to get out of this situation. So may I reach enlightenment. May I develop my qualities to their maximum potential so I can be truly beneficial for each and every sentient being. And here comes the so-called bodhicitta. May I reach enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And how can we do that? Only through the development of wisdom and love, compassion. And here comes the last part of the text, which is called meditating on the view, which is developing wisdom and compassion. So, compassion is coming a bit earlier. The last part is meditating on wisdom, okay? The last parts are actually quite brief, quite short here. And, but afterwards, I invite everyone just to read the text at home, so you can have a better understanding of it. But this is more or less this part of the path, okay? What Pabongkha Rinpoche brought to us here, which is the most important point of these days. And I'm actually quite happy we could dedicate 4 days only for these 3 subjects. Which, in the beginning I thought it would be too long time for short things, but actually it was even not enough the time. Which is the importance of relying correctly upon our spiritual guide, developing joy and rejoicing for this wonderful opportunity we have here, and understanding that this wonderful opportunity will end sooner than later. And we have no idea when it will be, and we must use it in the best way as we can on every moment of every action that we have in this life. This is the main point here. Okay? But this is not something that comes spontaneously. We must train ourselves within it. Okay? Pabongkha Rinpoche gave us this very clear and direct words. No? He had this quality of being so straightforward at the same time. So please, we can read it again and again so we have some idea. I would like to conclude with a reading of the gradual path to enlightenment, because in the very beginning of the text, we said, Pabongkha Rinpoche said, it's more important than anything is at least to put the imprints of the whole path to enlightenment on our own mental continuum, okay? And we do this by what he called glance meditation, shargom, which is when we say, okay, first I do this, then I do that, then I do that, okay? So I would like to do that, which doesn't take so long, through the Guru Puja. So maybe someone could distribute the text of the Guru Puja. I need also one in English and Italian. And then we'll do this in 1 minute. So, as we move on, in the beginning of the text, Pabongkha Rinpoche told us about the importance of us meditating on the whole path. And we can do this, for example, through the text of the Guru Puja from verse 84. So we'll just do this quickly now. And one thing that is an advice is that if we do this every day, we can every day, or if we do once, 3 times a week, or once a week, whatever, every time we do, we meditate on one of the verses deeply. Then we stop on that verse, we meditate on it until we generate that feeling, we stay on that feeling, then we go to the next verse. Next time we do this on the next verse. And like this we can go on and on the meditation, okay? Until we get to the end, then we go back again from the beginning. So, the first verse, for instance, says, Shincho damba jizon lama la chujin kube sowa tabe tu dele tsawa gombo kyonigi geshin jesun zimpar jingilo. To the power of having made offerings and respectful requests to you, O holy and venerable Gurus, supreme field of merit, we seek your blessings, O protectors, and root of well-being and bliss, that we may come under your joyful care. In this moment, we can go back to the text of Pabongkha Rinpoche and read the whole part, which regards, if not the whole part, some points which we remember that touched our mind, and which remember the importance of relying correctly upon a guru, seeing the guru as inseparable of all Buddhas, and so on. We can go back to that point, we stop, and we meditate about it, okay? So first step, develop this trust to our gurus as being inseparable of all Buddhas, have trust on our own path. Realizing how these bodies of liberty and endowments, which we have seen what we mean by liberties and endowments, is found but once, is difficult to obtain, and is easily lost, we seek your blessings to partake of its essence, make it worthwhile, and not be distracted by the meaningless affairs of this life. So basically, what we request is, bless me to realize the preciousness of this life and the certainty of death with the uncertainty of the moment of death. It's incredible how great masters such as Panchen Losang Chui Gyaltsen could put in one verse so much meaning in such a clear way. This is really something very special for me. So we stop here and we meditate on impermanence, on the preciousness of this life, on the certainty of death, and that need of making this life really meaningful. So we see these are the steps on the path. First step, rely correctly upon the Guru. Second step, preciousness of this life. Third, impermanence. Okay? Ngeson dunga trouble negyut ngeson dunga barwe magic ne nine kunjo sunla kyabje dibo ngezon tadaro bala tsompar lulen chebra jingelo. Le da nyomon balon trak to tru dunga sumgi gyunse mambo se tame jino so chembole tardo shuta kyabra jingelo. Soga chonra drawe korwati gawe se to lobani lason pape no gezon sunche tarpe gyansen zimpra jingelo. Nyam ta drowa digun dage ma yang tingi kyambe tsone dobe polo seme chomi ninche kyabra jingelo. Okay. So the next points say, aghast at the searing blaze of suffering in the lower realms, we take heartfelt refuge in the 3 precious gems and seek your blessings that we may eagerly endeavor to practice the various means for abandoning what is bound to misfortune and accumulating virtuous deeds. So this means reflecting upon the general and specific sufferings of samsara, the specific sufferings of samsara. So we want to abandon the lower realms. Violently tossed amid waves of delusion and karma, plagued by the hordes of watery of boundless and vicious existence. Having abandoned the mind that views this unbearable prison of cyclic existence as a pleasure grove, we seek your blessings to partake the treasure of Arya's jewels and the 3 higher trainings, and thereby uphold liberation's banner. Which means developing renunciation. I recognize I don't want only to be reborn in the lower realms. I want to get completely out of the cycle of samsara. I want to act in accordance to be out of the cycle of samsara. Okay, now just touching the points. And then it continues. Nyamta drowa digun dagi ma yan tringi kevsene duwe pulat se ma chindu chumi ninshi kiwar jinglo dunge chamot same mi de chindela na me chumi dada shenla kiwar me shinde gawa kiwar jinglo rangi chebar zembe chungni de mido dunga kibe kirtone lendela kundu che dazin donjin jobar jinglo manan che sondela gobelo ta yenden jwe gordon drowa de lag na ga sole chebar zembe jinglo dorna chibarando gona da tubo shine bajde bai kyona yende yema dobelo da shenyem shine bar jinglo rangi chedin guba kuin go manan chedin de kun shi deji da chena nyamle nimbo chebar jinglo Tena jeton la madrice magiro diritto che malo tata la dagi che sono da drogon de dandem per jinglo ne jo di vedre yon kande minu nga chadon geleng rebe se virto ne king elam to lo jinglo dorna sangue na chena chugo ni bodong milan chanjo sen pelo de ide bashin gomro jinglo jorwa shi dan tembe tab ge tela kantu gomla ro dan lojo dan salam chinyam legi del jor tenchen jombra jingelo ton le lo la gembe to de jamna jela ba samay ron sa chelo ve chanjo semni jomar jingelo tu sun gyawa kungi ro chena namda ga sen do ma gyo techo tsutrin sumgi nyamle la tsomba lo len chebra jingelo. So the next step from verse 89 up to verse 100 is actually the part in which it refers to the developing of bodhicitta and the practice of the mind training of the lojong. Okay? So I will go directly to the text as it says. Having considered how all these pitiful beings have been our mothers and have raised us in kindness again and again, we seek your blessings to develop unaffected compassion like that of a loving mother to the precious child. There is no difference between ourselves and others. None of us wish even the slightest of suffering, not even contact with the happiness we have. Realizing this, we seek your blessings, that we may enhance the bliss and joy of others. This chronic disease of cherishing ourselves is the cause that gives rise to the unsought suffering. Perceiving this, we seek your blessings to blame, begrudge, and destroy the monstrous demon of selfishness. The mind that cherishes all mother's beings and would secure them in bliss is the gateway leading to infinite virtue. Seeing this, we seek your blessings to cherish these beings more than our lives, even should they rise up as our enemies. In brief, infantile beings labor only for their own end, while Buddhas work solely for the welfare of others. With a mind understanding the distinctions between the failings of one and the advantages of the other, we seek your blessings to enable us to equalize and exchange ourselves for others. Since cherishing ourselves is the doorway to all torment, while cherishing our mothers is the foundation of all that is good, we seek your blessings to make our core practice the yoga of exchanging self for others. And thus, O venerable and compassionate gurus, we seek your blessings that all karmic depths, obstacles, and sufferings of all mother beings may, without exception, ripen upon us right now, that we may give our happiness and virtue to others, and thereby invest all beings in bliss. Should even the environment and its beings, and here continues the part of the lojong, the mind training, should even the environment and the beings therein be filled with the fruits of their karmic depths, and one wished for suffering pour down like rain. Here is a small mistake in translation. Should even the environment and the beings therein be filled with the fruits of my karmic depths, and unwished for suffering pour down like rain on me, we seek your blessings to take these miserable conditions as a path, by seeing them as the causes to exhaust the results of our negative karma. In short, no matter what appearances may arise, be they good or bad, we seek your blessings to transform them into a path ever enhancing the 2 bodhicittas, relative and absolute, through the practice of the 5 forces, the quintessence of the entire Dharma, and thus attune ourselves solely to the bliss of the mind. Whatever we occasion to meet, we seek your blessings that we may adapt it to our meditation by the skillful means of the 4 acts of use, May we render this life of liberties and endowments infinitely meaningful by putting into practice the advice and commitments of the training of the mind. In order to rescue all beings from the vast scene of existence, we seek your blessings to become adept in the bodhicitta through the pure selfless wish, and by love and compassion, conjoined with the visual techniques of mounting, giving, and taking upon the breath. We seek your blessings that we may eagerly endeavor to put into practice the three Mahayana moral codes, which basically is abandoning negative actions, accomplishing positive actions, and benefiting others, and restrain our mind stream with the pure bodhisattva vows, the single path journeyed by all victorious ones of the three times. Then, once we have committed that we want to benefit others, the next part of the path is, okay, I want to reach enlightenment for the benefits of all sentient beings, so let's do something about it. Then comes the 6 perfections. Okay?
세진여로 저번에 썸네 버리도 버리는 걸로 데니스도 버리게 라면이 되잖아. 근데 요즘에 쉐어 버리도 버리는 걸로 치는 추는 그러면 나베서나도 줘. 나인데 버리는 규멘티도 버리는 걸로 코르데 란시도 메단 규르데네 로면 벤서가면 저 루고 논도 버리는 게 로. 테네 더르지 즘베데면 규텐레 규데가 즘베데 모두 싸와 담지 domana solo ci 버리는 걸로 케시 바르도 결국은 또 그러는 바다만 저게 담에 나시를 말고 저데 카나라고 잘 버리는 걸로 닌게 답게 뒤뒤다도 공교샤생 거보는 좀 왜세 글로스도 주벨라 체딩 온도 규로징로 람나마 신치베드시나 텐다타겔라 보니 동해는 저래 다 배신도 로징로 도나케 신기와도 고모 규기를 멘션나 쿠순도게 나가도 세게 투어 규로징로 공교 가는 거 상게 백 거르게 도만 여다게 내 카르타도 건도 말로파 베메 흉게 드베타시 솔.
So, the next part refers from verse 101 up to verse 109, up to verse 108, refers to the 6 perfections, which goes 1 verse for every perfection, which is the path of the Bodhisattva, and 3 verses for wisdom. Then we have 2 verses that refer to the path of the Tantra, and then another 3 verses of conclusion. So the path goes up to verse 111. So I will just read it quickly. It says, generosity. We seek your blessings to complete the perfection of generosity through the guideline teaching for enhancing the mind that gives without attachment, namely transforming our body, wealth, and collection of virtue over the 3 times into the object desired by each and every sentient being. Morality. We seek your blessings to complete the perfection of moral disciplines, of working for the sake of sentient beings, enhancing virtual deeds, and enacting virtuous deeds, and not transgressing the bounds of the pratimoksha, bodhicitta, and tantric vows, even at the cost of our lives. Should even the myriad beings of the 3 realms, patience, without exception, become angry at us, humiliate, criticize, threaten, or even kill us, we seek your blessings to complete the perfection of patience, not to be distraught, but to work for their benefit in response to their harm. The next one we have is joyful effort. Even if we must remain for an ocean of eons in the fiery hells of Avicii, for the sake of one sentient being, we seek your blessings to complete the perfection of joyful effort, to strive with compassion for supreme enlightenment and not to be discouraged. Then we have concentration. Having abandoned the faults of dullness, agitation, and mental wandering, we seek your blessings to complete the perfection of meditative concentration through the samadhi of single-pointed placement upon the nature of reality, which is that all things are void of true existence. Then we have 3 verses of wisdom. We seek your blessings to complete the perfection of wisdom through the space-like yoga of single-minded placement upon ultimate truth, conjoined with ecstasy and great bliss, induced by the discriminating wisdom and analyzing suchness. We seek your blessings to perfect samadhi on illusion by realizing
how all external phenomena lack true existence, yet still appear like a mirage, a dream, or the image of the moon on a still lake. Samsara and nirvana lack even an atom of true existence, while cause and effect and dependent arising are unfailing. We seek your blessing to discern the import of Nagarjuna's thought, which is that these two are complementary and not contradictory. Then we have another three verses which refer to the path of the Vajrayana, the path of the Tantra. And thereupon we seek your blessings that we may cross the labyrinth ocean of Tantra through the kindness of our navigator Vajradhara, and to hold more dear than our lives our vows and words of honor, which are the roots of powerful attainments. We seek your blessings to cleanse all stains of ordinary appearance and grasping to the first stage yoga of transforming birth, death, and the bardo into the three bodies of Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya, so that whatever may appear arises as the body of an Idam. We seek your blessings, this is the generation stage, and then 111 completion stage, which is the actual state of enlightenment finally. We seek your blessings to actualize in this life the path of unity of the clear light and illusory body, which arises from placing your feet, O protector, at the very center of the central channel, at the eight petals of our hearts. With this we complete the gradual path to enlightenment. And then the text itself has three verses of conclusion, which I will just read quickly. Should we not have completed the points of the path at the time of death, we seek your blessings that we may be led to a pure land through either the instructions of applying the five forces or by forceful means of enlightenment, the Guru's transference mind. In short, we seek your blessings, O protector, to be cared for by you from birth unremittingly throughout all our lives, and thus to become your chief disciples, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O protector, please grant that all be auspicious for us to be amongst your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, and hence all your temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. The important thing here is that we can see that the actual gradual path is not that complicated. No, we have relying correctly upon the Guru. 3 points we could see in 4 days, which is actually quite good, no? If we are talking about the path to enlightenment. Okay, we're not talking about learning how to make sandwiches, okay? We're talking about something quite deep. So, relying correctly upon the Guru, first point. Second step, recognizing the preciousness of this life. Third step, impermanence, the certainty of death, the uncertainty of the moment of death, that only Dharma can be useful at the moment of death. Then after that, making it short, we have developing renunciation of the lower realms, then renouncing samsara as a whole. Then after that, developing bodhicitta, open our heart to all sentient beings. Developing the determination to reach enlightenment for the benefits of everyone. And then once I make the commitment I want to reach enlightenment, then it's practicing the 6 perfections, which is the process to reach enlightenment. Generosity, morality, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom. And then after that, there is a path of the Tantra, generation stage, completion stage. This is the whole path. Okay? So at least we can have a general view of what is the path. And then we should put real effort to just start doing 1 step at a time. First step, rely correctly upon the Guru. We have seen this throughoutly. Second step, the preciousness of this life. Third step, impermanence. And as we go through it, as we make it deep in ourselves, then slowly we get 1 step after the other. And then bring to our daily life. As we were saying in another context, some teachings I gave some time ago. Monday, practice generosity. Tuesday, morality. Thursday, patience. Wednesday, patience. Thursday, joyful effort. Friday, concentration. Saturday, wisdom. Sunday, day off, relax. Okay?
So the point is that if you put one day for each one and you focus on it, it will help you to actually bring it to your daily life. Otherwise, it's just something, there is the path, here is my life, I am already overwhelmed with so many things that I need to do, I'm not able to do this or that. So divide the practices on our everyday life. From time to time, go back to Pabongkha Rinpoche, read his advices, bring our certainty back, bring that feeling of the preciousness of this life, that the joy back for ourselves. Okay? The joy of being here, of being alive and being able to practice the Mahayana path. That's the joy. Okay? And like this, gradually we will grow, step by step, day by day, word by word, action by action. That's how we grow on our path, life by life. Okay, no other choice. Okay? Otherwise, we want to run, and we don't move anywhere. Okay? We need to go step by step, one step after the other. Okay? Just remember, the path to enlightenment is a path of joy. This doesn't mean that it's always easy, but it's a joyful path. Okay? It is important. And it's not a path that will happen who knows when. It happens on every day, on every action that we direct in the correct way. Okay? We do now the final dedications. Jetsun lame kutse rapten chin namkar chinle chochur gepad drove munse tautu ne gyurch kewa kunto yanda lamadan drame cheki pela longche Sadan lamge yente rabzone dorje change kopa nyurto vish nimo dele tsendele nime kunyandel ninsen takto delekpe koncho sumge jingilo koncho sumge ngodrupso Koncho sumge trashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness.